fantabulous micro, able to pick off the mines before they were able to do any damage. Some great micro there. So Stork in a very good position after breaking out there, and it looked like he actually delayed that Nexus slightly. I don't know if you were watching the minimap, but that Nexus did not go up immediately. As soon as he saw the pushdown, he waited just a few moments and was able to produce a few more units, and with that, with just you know, 2 or 3 more goons, that really made the difference there. Allowed him to push out that much easier and allowed him to break that contain. And now Fantasy's kind of in a bad spot, because if he does go for something, say like a 2-1 push or something like that, assuming he's getting an armory and upgrades, which you usually do at this stage, he's not going to have as many forces as he would necessarily want at that position. And it looks like instead Fantasy's going to try and take a 3rd base himself, and I think Stork has units at the 12 o'clock position, maybe just a probe scouting out. I think he's going to see this coming. And Vulture's trying to maraude around, not gonna have too much luck. Stork is just too good. Stop trying, Fantasy. You're not gonna get Vultures in there. This isn't Jangby. This is Stork. I love both these players. Oh man, Stork! No, you are gonna be Stork. Stork, stop making me sound bad. I hate you, Stork. Don't make me sound bad. I don't like it when people do that. Especially, it seems like StarCraft has this way of whenever you try and say someone's really good at something, that's when they'll fail. StarCraft is really good at that. I don't know how or why, but every single time it seems they always fail. Like you say, oh, this player's really good at keeping their defilers alive. 6 defilers get irradiated in the next 13 seconds. Oh, this guy is really protecting his science vessels really well. Well, there goes 4 science vessels. It seems like consistently that's what happens to me. Grr. But, yeah, that Vulture run by didn't do too much damage. It looked like it picked off like maybe 4 probes or so. No critical damage being done, and a pylon actually being placed just to be a nuisance and just to force Fantasy to bring up more units that way, and Stork's going to use this opportunity to bring up his army as well. So both going to delay the command center, and is going to provide a way for him to get his units up, and needs to be careful with these mines, and wow. Playing with fire is Stork, was able to actually stop those mines. And some Dragoons coming in from the back here, actually going to take the main ramps, and might actually be able to get these tanks from behind. So some fantastic play here from Stork coming in from behind to pick off these tanks. And yeah, Fantasy tanks are going to get smushed in between 2 sets of Dragoons. And that's going to be bad. Might even lose his command center if forces don't come up quickly in order to save it. Fantasy's going to lose that command center, and that was going to be a huge blow to him, and it looks like it is. It's almost in the red already, and there it is in the red, and that command center is going to go down. There is just no saving that. Boom, there it goes. And Fantasy is so far behind now. You're losing those 400 minerals and all that build time. Doesn't really have any upgrades right now, and Stork just in a dominating position here, dominating lead. Fantasy just doesn't have a lot of units out of the field, doesn't have a lot of tech, doesn't have a lot of bases, and Stork just wandering in right now, just gonna pick off yet another tank. And you know, Stork might actually be able to get behind that turret, go near that refinery at the natural expansion, do some damage to the SCV line from there, maybe even force the SCVs to pull back, and do some more damage that way. And these Vultures trying to find another target, could get the 3 o'clock position. There is a probe there, so they could get 1 probe. Yeah, they do get 1 probe, but the photon cannons are coming up, and Stork should be able to get some Dragoons up there in time. Yeah, he's sending 5 Dragoons up there, going to be more than enough. Especially with that observer, these mines aren't going to be that effective with the observer in tow. And these Dragoons having bad luck with that mischance, missing more than normal. And we got Stormers out, we got High Templar, so we're going to see some Storm. Thought we were going to see some Arbiter play here from Stork. Instead, we're going to see some Storms first. Could see some Arbiter play, still very much possible. All he has to do is throw in a Stargate and then the Arbiter Tribunal, but he's going to start out with some Ground Storms. And he's able to do this because Fantasy doesn't really have a large army, you know. Fantasy doesn't really have the units it takes in order to micro and pick off all of his High Templars left and right. So he's going to just be able to produce a shuttle and ferry them around, and he'll be in good shape. And you know, with stasis, you really want a lot of clumped up tanks, but if your opponent only has like 6 tanks or something, well, you can't really do too much. And a dropship coming in here for a Vulture drop, probably. There are actually a tank and 2 Vultures, and we got a couple cannons in range, but I'm not going to be able to really stop the tank per se, but I don't think speed has actually been upgraded yet. Looks like Stork's actually sending some units down there. There's speed. Maybe they were speed upgraded before, but I don't think so. I think that might have just kicked in. And we'll see how well these mines drag in. And yeah, that siege tank's not gonna be able to do much of anything. Might be able to get picked up and ferried away. Yeah, it is. But Not able to do that much damage. Took out a cannon here, cannon there. Took out a few probes. But it's just not enough. Once again, 4 bases on 2 for Protoss players. A dominating position. Only a few tanks out for Fantasy. Fantasy has just lost too much. He's trying to sneak a base here at the bottom left. Hasn't started mining from it yet. Has a couple SCVs down there. For whatever reason, hasn't started mining yet. But he has the base up and running at least. That's something. And might actually doing something at the 9 o'clock. Don't know who's at the 9 o'clock. But Stork right now, just look at his army. That is a huge, massive army, and Fantasies is just not that big. Doesn't have the units it needs. Just doesn't have enough tanks to push this off. Doesn't have enough vultures and mines. Doesn't have enough tech. Doesn't have enough science spouses to EMP stormers and things like that. Just a lot of things missing right now from Fantasy's army due to the fact that he's lost a command center, built another command center in the bottom left. It's 800 minerals that have been spent on economy, that haven't been spent on military or tech, and that's why he's kind of falling behind here. And Stork's economy has been relatively unharassed. It's just been allowed to grow, and these vultures trying to do as much damage as they can to the zealots. And Fantasy knows that he needs whatever he can, because he just needs to do whatever damage. He might actually be able to pick off not able to actually pick off any probes there, but he knows now that there's a 4th base the probe transfer has completed, and he's got to know that he's in trouble right now, and that he's got to do something. That 3rd base in the bottom left, yeah, it's nice, but it's not going to be really saturated. He can't really afford to do a probe transfer just because of how much scouting information Stork has. And Stork also is producing a pylon by the base at the bottom left. Could actually see some cannons coming up there. We got 3 Stargates coming up as well for him, so could actually see a transition into carrier tech, which would be very, very cool. Some Dragoons coming here to the bottom left as well, and Stork's really going to be able to finish this off with ease. It's just a matter of how he wants to finish it off. If he's going to finish it off with the cannon rush. Come on, Stork, produce a cannon. Yeah, there we go. Stork producing cannons in Fantasy's 3rd base. That's pretty awesome. It looks like Stork's going to go to the top left, or the top, and take out this base, and some SCVs coming off the line. Smart play, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Stork's got just so many units. Look at all those units, and they're just able to start sitting here picking off SCVs, and even that is damage that Fantasy can't afford, because he's losing that base at the bottom left. So he's trying to get his 4th base up and running. This is really going to be his 3rd base at the top. And actually some vultures able to come down to the bottom left. Wow, Fantasy actually able to hold. I'm surprised that I'm impressed. Fantasy actually able to hold, actually staying alive in this game. We've got 3 Stargates, 4 Stargates producing carriers. And Stork, the bird toss, is going to win this game with carriers. That is pretty awesome. With his 5 gas carrier build. That is just awesome. I love it when Stork has carriers, because he's got great carrier micro, and it's actually very, very beautiful. And he usually times out his carriers very, very, very well. I referenced the game on Troy a lot when he did that to... I always forget who. I know someone even messaged me once and was like, oh yeah, remember, it's that player. It was that game, but I always forget who it was. But game on Troy where he blew up his own assimilators and then did proxy carriers and absolutely wrecked a guy. That was pretty awesome. I always wanted to try that, but I never really get to play Troy. I've only played it a couple of times. It's a pretty awesome map though, so if I ever get a chance, I will play Troy and do that to someone if I can, because that was just so cool. And very, very fun. Got some vultures marauding around the map. Gonna try and do some damage. Gonna try and get up to the top right. See if